Welcome back to the Product Biz Podcast. My name is Monica Little, and I am so excited to be here back in your ear, sharing some more knowledge, especially after receiving so much love for last week's episode. That was probably my favorite episode that I've recorded in maybe like a year, maybe even like a year and a half. And my big goal for 2025, and even as we wind down 2024, is to bring more emphasis to this podcast and also bring more raw and real opinions and thoughts to this podcast. I have been personally going through so much work over the last 6 months, just more so owning my voice and owning my opinions and owning my authority and owning yes, this is truth. This is how it works. This is what you need to know. I didn't really realize it until about 6 months ago, but I uncovered that I really am a people pleaser. But it only comes up in certain places in certain ways. So for example, I'm not really a people pleaser in terms of the status quo and stick with a job that you don't like and go to work every single day doing something that you just don't love to do. I'm not a people pleaser in that way. I am very much not a people pleaser when it comes to my own life and my own actions. However, crazy thing that I noticed is, I guess that it is what a people pleaser is when you please the other people, right? When you tone down your message for other people, when you get a little bit of worried of what will people think? Or can I boldly claim this statement? And I've been working with a couple different people number one, who really opened my awareness to that. I really didn't think I was a people pleaser, but I'm yeah, I actually do water down my message. I've been working with an incredible voice coach that has just been helping me step into that authority with my voice, with my words, with the statements that I say. And I've also been doing a lot of subconscious reprogramming work with my friend Diana, who is an incredible subconscious reprogramming coach, because all of these fears, doubts, or things that hold us back are all from our subconscious, most of the time from ages 0 to 7, when we were impacted by someone saying something, and that little subconscious memory turns into a massive subconscious memory that we aren't consciously aware of, but that drives the show. So I've been leaning into more of how do I express myself verbally. I feel pretty good expressing myself in written form. I can dish it out on an Instagram post, but I feel like I water it down a little bit on the podcast or on group coaching calls. And I had a group coaching kickoff call with my Product Biz Academy members. And I really told myself before, I'm going to step into this authority of being that person and that leader and that boldness that a lot of people are looking for, and I'm going to own it, and it's going to ruffle some feathers. And I even had someone email me afterwards. I joke about this in the PBA kickoff call. When I'm laying it down, it's some of you are probably what the hell did I sign up for? What did I get myself into? And I actually had someone email me afterwards, freaking out a little bit, saying, oh my gosh, did I do the right thing? And I'm listen, I'm going to be a mirror to you and show you how you're showing up to your business based on the reactions that you have. So for example, as soon as someone challenges you to step up to the plate and you freak out about it, are you doing that in your business? As soon as there's a challenge, something new, something different, do you freak out, make excuses, try to get out of it, and turn the other way? So Product Biz Academy is in essence a mirror, and my job as a coach is to be a mirror to show you and create self-awareness of your habits and behaviors and how to overcome them. Okay, long-winded story to this intro of I'm just going to authentically own and claim what I say and how I say it because I believe in this stuff. And sometimes it can be hard saying this is the one best only way to do something. However, if I didn't do the things that I tell you, and if I didn't do them in the sequencing that I tell you, and if I didn't take the actions that I share with you, and if I didn't have the behaviors, and if I didn't have the mindset, and if I didn't have the community, exactly like what I share with you, I would not have gotten to where I did with my plant-based beauty business, with my coaching business, with anything in life. So I'm just going to fucking own it and be like, yeah, this is the truth and this is what you need. And especially, I think what's helping me own it even more is I love having new members, love having new clients because I see the same patterns of what people struggle with. And it's just helping me build the confidence of like, oh, okay, seen this before. I can help this person and blast through this belief, blast through this, and just come out on the other side. And I'm bringing that to the podcast too. So today, what we are talking about is your evolution and if the people surrounding you are actually contributing to your evolution or not. Because believe it or not, and this is a hill that I'm going to stand on, you cannot grow a successful business by yourself. And I don't necessarily mean that in terms of hiring, which hiring is a big part of it. But this conversation is if you are sitting on your laptop, sitting behind your phone, sitting making your products or standing making your products by yourself every single day, 5 days a week, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, you are going to do that at the detriment of your business. And there's a few reasons why that I'm going to share with you. And I want to give a little bit of a backstory to this first for the people who are like, yeah, be surrounded by people, hurrah, right? I used to not believe this because I'm a super independent person. I've been extremely independent since like the age of 5, maybe like 7. I was a middle child. So I think my sister was born when I was 7, my younger sister, which officially made me a middle child. And if you're a middle child, you know that you kind of got to fend for yourself because the baby gets all the attention as soon as the baby gets there, right? So I became super independent at like age 7, have been extremely independent since then. I got my first job at the legal age of like 15 years and 8 months or whatever it is at Subway. Not only did I go to school, get straight A's, I was in student council, I played sports, and I also worked like 30, sometimes 40 hours a week at Subway back when I was in high school. I went to college, paid my way through college, Michigan State University, I think, an expensive college tuition, not a community college, which can be a little bit more, still expensive, but a little bit more affordable. Paid my way through my own college. Even back in high school, I'll tell you the story that I wanted to go on spring break my senior year, and my mom told me no. And if you're a very independent person, when someone tells you no, what you think of is, okay, you said no, but how am I going to actually do what I want? And this is where I kind of thought I was like not a people pleaser, right? And that's when I got that job. And that's when I paid for my own spring break trip to Mexico with my friends senior year in high school because my mom told me no, paid my way through college, bought my own car. Like, you guys have heard me say that my parents didn't have a lot of money. So if I wanted to do something like go to spring break, have money to buy clothes, go to a good school, live on campus and then off campus with my friends in college, have food in college, pay for college tuition, pay for books, I had to do it myself. And I'm really grateful for that because I learned so much. Learned to take radical responsibility, learned to not be a victim of my circumstance, learned to be able to do whatever I set my mind to, like 100% learned all of those incredible traits. And then I brought this independent mentality into my small business. And I said, well, I've done everything else on my own. I've done all of these feats and have grown my whole life being super independent. Let me be super independent with my small business. And here's where shit really hits the fan. Because all those examples that I gave you of me being independent as I grew into my adult life, got my first corporate job, worked in corporate offices, I was extremely independent, yes. However, I was always surrounded by people who were doing the same thing. Let's look at a couple examples. When I got my first corporate job and interviewed in college, my friends at that time were also interviewing for corporate jobs. When I wanted to go to spring break for high school senior year, my friends were also going to spring break for high school senior year, and that's why I wanted to go. When I went to Michigan State is because my friends were also going to college and I, of course, wanted to go. So there were people around me who were still doing the same things that I was doing, so I could still talk to them about it, even though the actions were my independent actions to make it happen. So when we start to run our small business by ourselves, this can actually be a very, very, very isolating thing to do. Because we have a laptop, we work on our business, we have a phone, we post on social media. Sure, maybe we go to markets and we talk to some small business friends while we're there, but there's no community or people around you that you can really talk to and really ask questions and really share struggles and really get to understand the lay of the land. And I want you to think of this scenario. It's like when you are a runner. I used to run track in high school too. I wasn't any good. Actually, track I was good because it's like not a lot of coordination. I wasn't good at basketball or volleyball, but track I was good because all it required was your 2 feet and some kick-ass mentality, and you can do whatever you want, right? In that example, if you are a runner and you want to run a faster mile, or a faster half marathon or a faster 10K, what do? Do you keep going out, running by yourself, running more, continuing to get on the treadmill or go outside and run by yourself? Or do you get a running group and run with people who are faster than you? If you join a running group and everyone who's in that running group, or majority of people in that running group, are running an 8-minute mile while you are running a 9-minute mile, guess what's going to happen? You are going to start running faster. You're going to get better conditioned. You're going to have people around you that are going to motivate you, that are going to inspire you. You're not going to want to fall back because everyone's running and you don't want to be 10, 20, 30 feet behind them, the only person behind them. So you are going to show yourself what you are capable of from being part of that running group. Community and proximity and being around people who are contributing to your evolution is about borrowing the belief of others. Because a lot of times as small business owners, when we are literally doing things on our own, behind our phone, behind our laptop, if we get thrown around, if we don't get a result that we want, if we post and it doesn't go our way, if we have a sale and it doesn't go our way, if we participate in a market and it doesn't go our way, if we are struggling with whatever component it is for growing a business, community, being around others, allows you to borrow their beliefs. Just like in that running group, when everyone else is running an 8-minute mile, you see that it's possible. You borrow their belief. You know, okay, cool, these 10 people are doing it. I can do it too. Let me just keep pumping my arms and moving my legs. And yeah, it's going to be hard, but if they're capable, when they're not even fazed by it, I can do it too. This is why I absolutely am obsessed with the community inside Product Biz Academy, because when you step into PBA, you are stepping into a higher, more advanced, faster running group. And it's going to propel you forward. Let me give you some examples. So many people are hesitant to hire employees. There's all this drama around employees. I don't get it. I truly don't get it. Like, I don't ever want to build a business where it relies on me, because then it's just a job. And that's another episode for another day. When you join Product Biz Academy, you're going to see people who are hiring employees. Like Kelly from Maddie and Me Handmade. She just posted in our PBA Facebook group last week that she hired not one, but 2 new team members to help make her products. And you can feel the excitement in the post when she's saying she can see the light at the end of the tunnel with having backstock to keep up with orders because her business is growing so much. And when you join PBA, that is the norm. So all of a sudden, if you have these like fears and doubts of hiring, it's so scary, it's so intimidating. How will I pay them? What will they do? It's going to take away my identity of being a maker and a crafter. What's going to happen? All of a sudden, you borrow the belief of others. All of a sudden, you see that they're doing it. Then it's not as big of a deal as maybe it is in your head. And you start to see, ooh, I can do this too. I thought this was scary, but actually, this isn't so bad. Others are doing it. Here's another example. When there's small business owners inside Product Biz Academy that are moving into dedicated new making spaces. This is another thing that people freak out about. People have panic attacks. People just, again, in my opinion, overinflate the consequences, the fear of having a making space. When you join Product Biz Academy and you come into the Facebook group, there was just someone again last week saying, so excited, we are moving into a new making space. We outgrew our existing one. This is going to be way more functional. We're so excited. Community allows you to borrow the belief of others. So when you see people doing that, it's going to help you chip away at these stories that you have in your head of it's not possible, it's too hard, I'm not ready. And isn't that what leads to action? Isn't that what leads to you showing up differently? Isn't that what leads to you believing in yourself differently? Isn't that what leads you to dreaming bigger? So if you don't have the community to give you the beliefs of others to borrow from, you're going to keep doing the same shit that you've always done. And the biggest thing that holds small business owners back is not the strategy or the tactic or the this or the that. It's the doing the same thing that they've always done and expecting a different result. But the problem is when you are running your business by yourself, you are very, very likely to just keep doing the same things because you don't have other people to learn from, to see, to borrow belief from, to get encouragement from. So of course you're going to struggle because it's you versus you. And most people, when it's you versus you, they have blind spots they're not even aware of. And then they don't see any progress and they don't see any results. Now, here's another statistic and story that I'm going to tell you that shows why it's so important to be in proximity with people who are doing the things that you want to do in your business. There's this amazing study, and it's about rats. But the takeaways, if you can read between the lines, are going to blow your mind. In this study, they put rats into a cage, and these rats were all alone. Individual cages, individual rats. There was no other people, just them by themselves. Now, these rats in their individual cages had 2 water bottles that they could drink out of, or 2 water pails, whatever. I don't know. I'm thinking of like a hamster that has a little water bottle hanging down, right? They could either have regular water that was openly available to them, or water laced with morphine. Now, one study says morphine, and I actually looked this up, and another study says the water was laced with heroin or cocaine. So choose your drug of choice in this story. The rats that were in the individual cages would repeatedly drink from the drug-laced water and overdose and die. Now, I know it's very extreme, so let me tell you the other side and let me paint the picture of how this comes together. In addition to this study, while it was happening, the other part of the study was to have rats in an environment with other rats. So they could play, they could socialize, they could mate, they could have babies. Now, these rats that were in a community were given both types of water. one that was regular water and one that was laced with drugs. What's so crazy in this study is the rats who were in a community preferred the regular water. They didn't go to the drug-laced water. They preferred the regular water. They had both options, but they chose the cleaner water, the water that was better for them, the water that didn't lead to overdosing and dying. And this shows the importance of a social community. Because when left to our own devices, when it's just you, you will do things that self-sabotage. And I'm not saying you're going to go and do drugs. I'm saying you will do things that self-sabotage your business, that undermine your business, that prevent you from seeing the progress that you really want. However, when you're in a community of others, that's why proximity is so powerful. That's why community is so powerful. Because it's going to uplift you. A rising tide lifts all boats. I know you've heard that cliche saying, and it's a saying because it's true. Now, we are the average of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. And I want you to think through very specifically that your business is a culmination of the 5 people you spend the most time with about your business, talking about your business, relating about your business. Now, what comes up? Are you in Facebook groups that just constantly talk about how Etsy sucks and Etsy is a ripoff and they're going to close your shop? Are you in Facebook groups where people talk about how social media, it's just the algorithm is always changing, there's no luck, and it's all worthless, it's a waste of time? Or, and this is a tough one too, is the only person that you really have in your corner your spouse? And does your spouse run a product-based small business where he or she can actually give you solid advice? Or are you getting advice, maybe unsolicited advice, maybe not even helpful advice from someone who doesn't even understand what it's like to run a small business? I see this all the time, and I don't see people really talking about it, but I actually think a spouse who isn't in the product-based small business space giving advice is usually really detrimental to the small business owner, because they have no idea what it's like, what it takes. They may look at one component like the finances and totally derail you on a completely different path, but they don't know what's actually going on in your business, what's required of you, how much work you do, how much you show up. And I don't care how much you tell your partner of what you do. If they aren't in it, they don't know what it's like. So how many people are in your circle that are positive, that are helping you evolve, that actually have a product-based small business, that are further along than you, that you can learn from, that you can openly ask any question that you have to grow your business, make the right decisions, and see actual progress? How many? Now, I told you that when I first started my skincare small business, I was doing it all by myself. I had a couple friends that I met at markets, and we would talk every so often, and I would sometimes ask one of my friends in particular questions, but I always felt kind of weird, quote unquote, bothering her, always asking questions, but also not having like a roadmap or a sense of anything, because I was still doing it on my own. I was just asking questions that randomly came up to me, to whomever I had recently met that I felt could provide me with an answer. And that isn't what led to growth. Surrounding yourself with people who contribute to your evolution is what leads to growth. And when I started to actually do that with my business, that's when things started to shift. And until you do that with your business, expect to run into the same roadblocks. Don't expect anything to change. Seriously. In order to grow, we have to be offered new perspectives, different perspectives from people who've been there, done that can show you what it takes and help you with the hurdles and the challenges and the roadblocks. And if you don't have that, It's going to take you 20 times longer, 20 times more painful, 20 times probably more expensive learning the lessons in the long run rather than knowing what to do to see results right now. And is your business going to even last that long through that many challenges, through that much money, through that life cycle? So I encourage you to be part of a community that is dedicated to uplifting small business owners to help them grow their business, where any negativity is thrown out the door because that's not going to help anyone, and watch how much you grow. Just watch. And the last question I want to ask you to wrap up this episode is, if you are not surrounded by people who are contributing to your evolution, what can you do to put yourself in those places? No matter where you currently are in your business, no matter if you feel like you're not ready enough, no matter if you feel like you're too new, or what if these people have bigger goals or bigger aspirations, you belong in that running group because you want to run a faster mile. That's the only criteria. You belong in a group like Product Biz Academy because you want to grow your business. That's the only criteria. There's no sales criteria. There's no how old your business is, how young your business is. There's no age criteria. There's a beautiful saying that when power meets power, that's when magic happens. So if you are someone who has that power, and what I mean by power is that you have a deep desire to grow your business, and you're not going to sit here and be a victim to your circumstances. You're not going to be here and just talk about all the bad luck that you've had. You're not going to be here and just mope about the things that aren't working. That's not power. Power is the opposite of being dedicated to see what you're capable in this one life that we have, being committed to the growth of your business, understanding that it takes radical responsibility. And if you do that, it can happen. And if you stretch yourself and challenge yourself and put yourself in rooms where it is challenging and where you get stretched, then your success truly is inevitable. And when power meets power, when you have that type of dedication to yourself and to your business, and you join a program like Product Biz Academy where others have that same dedication, that's where the magic happens. And it doesn't matter where you are currently in your business. It matters where you want to go. Now, let me just finish the story of what happened with me being super independent and then starting this small business and trying to figure it out on my own. Like I mentioned, I had some friends at markets who were also small business owners that I would turn to every so often. But I knew that I needed more just people around me that understood what was happening and a way to, without any remorse, be able to ask questions. Like, no strings attached. Let me be able to ask questions and get the support that I know I need and the support I know I deserve. So what happened, especially because this was right when I was leaving my full-time job. So I was running markets and running my business for like 6 to 8 months before I decided to leave my full-time job. When I left my full-time job on December 31st, I think this was 2019, to focus fully on plant-based beauty, not because I had surpassed my corporate salary, but because I literally needed more time for my business if it was going to grow in any additional way. I had, at that moment, decided on January 1st, 2020, the next day, to be part of a 6-month coaching program and have a coach and have a community that I could turn to. Because I knew for sure that once the corporate job left, I wouldn't be surrounded by people. I would be by myself, working from my laptop, working from my computer. And it would be even more prominent that I would be literally on a lonely island. Now, that 6-month coaching program that I signed up for right when I left my full-time job, when I was barely making any money with plant-based beauty, I was in it for 6 months and I was so grateful for it. And also grateful for the domino effect of what happened, because that coaching program that I was part of as a student was actually a coaching program for people who were selling services. So my peers in that coaching program, someone was selling like a healthy gut service and coaching. Someone was helping people with productivity. Someone was helping people with photography. So they were all selling services, and I was the only product-based business owner in that coaching program. I was still so grateful for the community, but how this community conversation even grows is that's what planted the seed for me of there needs to be something like this specifically for product business owners, because it's a totally different language for product business owners. And what these people are talking about with their services does not translate to me. So I was in that program for 6 months, so grateful for it, still learned a lot. It had planted the seed of this was great, but I know it can be better if it's particular for product-based business owners. And then that same year, as we talk about community, a couple months later, after that coaching program ended, I actually opened a retail store with a business partner, and we had over 30 small businesses in our store. We created a group, Facebook group. We had like monthly calls with all of us. And we ended up, my business partner and I at that time, expanding to 3 stores with over 100 small business owners in our stores. We had a Facebook group that had like 800 or 900 people in it that wanted to be in our stores, and we were creating this community. And it was so amazing to bring all of these Chicago small business owners together. And right around this time is when Product Biz Academy actually began, because I noticed one more fundamental thing with community. Yes, it's great to find like a Facebook group and some free resources that have the vibe of a community. However, there's a different level of caliber of people who invest in community and invest in a program. And that's truly where Product Biz Academy was born, because this free group we had and the free resources that we gave, a lot of times people, when it's free, they like don't value it or they don't pay attention. There's truth behind the saying that the transformation happens with the transaction. So I knew, especially with Product Biz Academy, that I wanted to help people and help them grow and build this community of just kick-ass, dedicated, committed small business owners where you can't find this anywhere. You can't find this close-knit community in a free group that unfortunately gets infiltrated sometimes by some naysayers, because the naysayers are never the ones that are going to pay. They're just going to continue to naysay and never actually invest to make a change, right? So Product Biz Academy became this intersection of learning how to grow a product business specifically for handmade small business owners, and also bringing together amazing, incredible, dedicated small business owners in a community to grow together, to be able to ask any question, to get support, to get to know each other, to support each other. And that really is what Product Biz Academy still is today. We have an incredible Facebook group just for members of Product Biz Academy, and it is the most supportive group out there. My members, there was Stephanie who just posted in there like a week and a half ago saying, Monica, I can't believe what you created in this group. Like, this group is so supportive. I know I can come here with any question, and so many people chime in. It's just such a supportive place where everyone supports each other. We also have group coaching calls where every single month we get together on Zoom. You get to see each other's lovely faces. We dive deep into a topic, have it be business growth, have it be personal growth. We have time for Q&A. We have time for celebrations. You get to know every single person in PBA. And the cherry on top, which I just started this year, was our annual in-person event. We had our first event in March of 2024 where I think it was 20 small business owners from around the country flew into Scottsdale, Arizona, and we spent 2 days immersed in personal development. And this is a free ticket that you get to this event when you join Product Biz Academy. And truly the part of PBA that I am so grateful for every single day is the community and the connections and the sisterhood and I mean, there's some guys in there, so a little bit of brotherhood coming around too. Just the community that has been cultivated and how everyone is growing together and everyone is evolving together and everyone is supporting each other. And when one person is down, we support them and pull them up. When one person is high, we all rise to that level. And it's just so beautiful to see that in action. So that's a little bit about my community story of like being super independent, realizing it wasn't supporting my small business to be that independent. Of course, I still am independent in terms of execution, right? Being part of a community doesn't mean you aren't independent because you're still executing a lot of these things on your own, but it's having that support network. It's having that web of people and knowing that, hey, the problems I'm going through, others are going through it too. And here's how they're addressing it. And here's how I can address it too. And having that safety net to always go back to. Signing up for a coaching program that I was part of that wasn't tailored to product business owners, co-owning 3 retail stores, creating a free community, shifting to Product Biz Academy, a paid community, a paid course with the most dedicated, supported small business owners out there. And yes, I will say, number 1, you should be in Product Biz Academy. If you haven't already gotten that memo, I'm serving it up on a platter for you. And 2, just to reiterate the importance of this, I am still in a coaching program with a coach right now. And although obviously the moral of me in this coaching program with my coach is to learn how to make Product Biz Academy the best program with the most insane results for my members and how to do that, that is what my current coach supports me on. One of the main reasons I adore this coaching program that I am in is because of the community. And seeing my entrepreneur friends twice a year and seeing them on Instagram and getting to know them. So everything that I experience in such a positive way, and also like not just talking the talk, but walking the walk. Like I'm in a coaching program, right? And this coaching program that I'm in is a program that costs $15,000 a year. Like this is an insane coaching program. And the parts that I love about it is what I really, truly try to replicate in PBA in terms of community, in terms of results. And it's just this beautiful story to look back on and see how it all flows and how it all comes together and the importance of this. I cannot stress it enough. So if you are not surrounded by people who are contributing to your evolution, what can you do to put yourself in those places today? That is your goal. And watch how much you grow. Thank you so much for listening to this super quick episode of the Product Biz Podcast. If this resonated with you, send me a DM on Instagram at Monica Lillo Coaching, and I will see you next week on the Product Biz Podcast.